for now, the fuselage is done, so now we can start getting into the fun stuff, actually, carving and shaping some wood. So what we're gonna have to start carving is first the horizontal stabilizer, the tail. See, it's already cut, along with those guys. The carving and shaping that we're gonna have to do is we want to wind up with that airfoil shape and the elevator taper down all nice and pretty. So we're gonna start just with some 3/16 sheet on both of them. First things first, we gotta get center lines all over the place on this guy, so we're sure that we make it the same from top to bottom. And also so that way our airfoil shape is consistent through it out to the tips. That's what, if you can see them, that's kind of like theoretical intersection outside the radius. That's so I can figure out how long that really was, and then where to place, the high point of the airfoil out at the tip. Right here, this is the center section, not the tip section of it. The wing, we do get a root and a tip section, so we can kind of figure out what's going on. For the tail, we don't. So that's what center line is made for. So it'll be all over the place on the top, on the bottom, and we'll also do center line all around the outside of the part. So that way, again, we're sure we're doing things to center line, not just some arbitrary point in space that's probably going to move around on us. So I'll get that marked up, and then we'll get started. One of the super fun things you'll run into when building from plans a lot of times is you think you're going nuts because things aren't lining up and not measuring right. So an example of that, our tail here, okay, this is showing the elevator wiggling up and down, and the clearance slot we need for it, but so the hinge line should be right here. We measure it, we get 3 inches. We look at the component that we were supposed to cut, and we did cut. This lines up. That is not 3 inches. That is 2 3/4. Where this comes from, I'm not really sure, because this doesn't measure out to 3 inches and other stuff. The guy drawing it, when he was transferring lines, probably got a little confused for a second, and that's where that came from. It happens. It is what it is. So what I was trying to do was find the high spot of the airfoil, right about here. And then when I measure where it was, it's about 1.25 inches. So we'll probably about 33%, little more than 33% of the way back. So we'll just do the same to the part that we cut. We'll measure that, and then just keep going from there. Little things like that. It's not going to cause a catastrophe down the road or anything like that. Everything's going to fit fine. But one of the little things you need to always be conscious of and looking out for when you're taking and making measurements and transferring them to other work pieces is slow down, and if numbers don't seem to make sense, they probably aren't right somewhere. So slow down, figure out where it is, and then if it's something that you can not worry about and continue on, like we're doing right now, or if it's something that maybe we would have to go back to the fuselage and break out this form or move it forward or backward or anything like that. But yeah, it's just taking your time, not freaking out, and just working the problem. So we'll keep on going. Okay, let's start shaping an airfoil. So sanding bar, already got paper on it. We had said marked my center lines. I also marked the high points of the airfoil, and from here, if you remember, it's supposed to be symmetrical. Comes all the way down to center line in the front and the back. Not a whole lot comes off the back because we still need meat there for hinging. So yeah, I mean, from here, if you really wanted to, you could use a knife and start trying to shave that off, but you're gonna wind up going across a lot of the grain. All right, as you're coming up the sides, our grain's going this way. It's a lot easier to go with the grain if you're gonna do that, and you wind up stepping through. It's all up to you, and just sanding this in works just as well. Raise it up a little bit to make life easier on yourself. And then just start sanding. working to the line at the high point that we made so we can make a gentle curve all the way to the front. It's a pretty coarse paper, so we'll just rough it in. About halfway there. Try and keep it supported the best you can too, just so that way the shape remains reasonably constant. And just rotate through, then we'll work the front. Remember, because the grain direction is going to bend with the grain like this, so sometimes shaping the front of these can be a little bit tougher than the side, since at least you're working on an angle. But they do sand a lot quicker too, since you're going against the grain at this point. Yeah, and from here on out, it's really just more of the same. When I finish getting the curve on the front, I'll turn it around. I'll taper the back a little bit. I want this to line up about, I'm sorry, when I taper up the, after I finish sanding in the, so from here, it's really just more of the same, you know, just gentle smoothing in the front. I'll get it down to center line. On the back, still, this is just going to be a straight taper back though. I want the back edge to be about 1/8 of an inch wide or so. It'll be equal on both sides going down. And then just to go over the whole thing, make a real nice gentle contour. I'll be back when we start the other side. So I'm sitting here looking at this vertical stab, and I come to realize the way that Pete cut this kit, he cut the airfoil into the stab. And it's going to help get a nice clean glue joint down here. I'm pretty sure when I built my other one, the way I did this was I just made this flat and I put little shims underneath the front and the back, or something to fill in to get as much contact as possible. But I digress. This, we can, you know, line up our stuff, and we get a nice little airfoil gauge out of it, and you can check for anywhere you see sunlight is somewhere you gotta massage around it, drop the whole thing down and get it in. So yeah, handy little thing. Good call. Anyways, I'm gonna get the side cleaned up a little more, and then we'll start the other side. And here we are, good and solid, roughed in. Everything looks fairly even all the way around this. You'll notice I'm not quite down to center line here yet. I did hit my 1/8 inch on the back though. The reason it's not 100% the size is now we got to make the elevators go with it. And the elevators are just a straight taper. What I mean by that is this is the hinge line. So from here back, this is going to start at about that 1/8 of an inch that the I'm sorry, just larger than an 1/8 of an inch that the back of the elevator is. Just be a little taper. It'll look more like an edge break almost than anything. But then from here all the way out to the trailing edge, this comes to almost a, well, for balsa wood, what you can get a razor point, real nice taper. That helps a lot in most any aircraft, keep the air behaving the way that it should. So I'm going to do that the same way that I did the top half. Just go to town with some sandpaper. I'll keep an eye on my center lines, and just using a block, sand it down, and be done with these two. There's two of these.